Go Green Hawaii is sponsored by the Hawaiian Electric Company. Welcome back to Go Green Hawaii. This is where it all starts. Businesses like McDonald's fry tasty French fries, and that used oil needs to go somewhere.
You know, you're always looking for an environmentally friendly way of disposing of your used cooking oil. And when this biodiesel concept came about, we figured that we could be one of the very first businesses that really can close the loop. Not only do we supply our used cooking oil to be turned into biodiesel, but we also can be the end user for the biodiesel itself. So I think we're so proud of the fact that right now on Oahu, all of our used cooking oil are being converted to biodiesel.
Years ago, this waste oil went into the waste stream, mostly ending up in landfill. Now, as you eat those great fries, remember that you are helping to create biodiesel. After the oil has been used in the cooking process, Cleanway, a trucking company that transports the oil, comes to the restaurant and picks it up. In the past, each restaurant was responsible for disposing of this waste, usually paying to have it hauled away. Pacific Biodiesel and Cleanway pick it up at no cost to the restaurant. This saves a lot of money for the restaurant owners and puts the oil to good use and not in the landfill or shipped off island. Now that we have the waste grease at Pacific Biodiesel's facility on Oahu, the plant manager, George Owahi, will show us how they turn it into fuel. So George, what is this in here in this container?
Well, this is the receiving tank for the used cooking oil as it comes in from the trucks, the haulers. There's a bunch of screens that you can see in here, and when the oil gets disposed of into this receiving tank, the screens pick up all of the different solids and plastics. That's all the things that we don't want to get mixed up into the oil. We want the oil to get more or less liquid free as far as from water and suspended solids. So this catches a lot of the solids, and the water and stuff gets handled off of the heating tank. This oil is what we need to make the biodiesel product.
Pacific Biodiesel actually makes two kinds of fuels at the plant on Oahu. One is the biodiesel that you can put in your vehicle. The other is called biofuel. It's used at the plant to make heat for the biodiesel process. This eliminates any other fuels to be shipped in and also keeps these oils out of the landfill.
So the main thing we need here is heat, and this gives us the fuel for our heaters. Maui Land and Pine uses it for energy, and you also have in Maui, it's Maui Paving. It used to be Rimrock. They use it to heat up the asphalt. And Grace Pacific in Maui is going to start to use it. There's a lot of other companies that will use this final product as a low-grade fuel to get heat.
What are these big tanks? What's in those?
This is all the grease interceptor processing tanks. There's 6 of them, and the front 3 does the initial separation of the product. What happens is we fill one up today, and it will empty one today for tomorrow. So these are 2 receiving tanks, more or less the large receiving tanks, the processing tanks. Third tank that we have here is all the water goes into it. All the water that we get out of the product, out of the grease interceptor waste, goes into there, which is normally about 75 to 80% by volume of the grease interceptor.
Now, how does the water get out of the grease and get over there? How does that work?
It's all by heat.
So as you heat it up, they separate?
They separate out, yes, all by weight. Solids, which is the heaviest, water, the second heaviest, that mucky layer, as we said, and then you got the oil, which is the lightest.
So there's no other, you don't have to strain it or run it through pipes or anything, just heat it?
Yeah. Now this here, the used cooking oil, after that gets emptied into the pit, we do an initial test on it to see the quality of the oil. It has a certain spec that it needs to meet before we can actually use it for the biodiesel processing. That's a sample of the used cooking oil. So we're going to be testing it for the free fatty acids. So this is the test for the free fatty acids. Okay, I'm going to get that of the oil in there. And we've got this other product called So while it's an alcohol, it's a reagent alcohol. That gets mixed in there, or thrown in there, should I say. Okay, this is a stir plate. I'm gonna mix those 3 portions of chemicals together. So what we're gonna be looking for is a change of color. You see what color it is now? Okay, so you're gonna put this little spout in there, and you're gonna be shooting this in. Now this is what's gonna tell you what grade of the oil it is. You see it turn right there? Boom. So now you stop it. And it tells us that the free fatty acid percentage of that oil was a 3.4, which is good. In the morning when we take out the water and the solids and we got to nice oil, then that oil gets tested again for free fatty acids, as we call it. And if the free fatty acids meet spec, then it goes over to the biodiesel processing side, which is these set of tanks here.
Okay.
This is a reactor a mixer, should I say, that we use to mix the methanol or alcohol and the potash. This mixture basically would clean out your used cooking oil to turn it into methyl ester or biodiesel. So you got these sight tubes here that more or less from today's batches, you can see the separation of the glycerin and the ester or the biodiesel. Get the oil as clean as possible. Do a test on it, free fatty acid test. If it passed spec, the oil comes into this mixer. That mixes. When that's all done getting mixed, you throw it in your oil and you mix it all day. You just let it go. The end of the day, whatever that is, for us it's 3 o'clock. We shut the mixer off and we'll let this settle here overnight. And as you can see, we have some initial separation that happened, within about 45 minutes so far. But we leave it overnight and we wait till the next day.
Because the glycerin is heavier, it has come down to the bottom.
Sure.
How do you get the biodiesel out of here without
Sure.
including
They got valves in the bottom of the tank out of the cones.
Oh, okay.
And so we basically drop the glycerin down.
Gravity.
And no, we have pumps to do that.
Oh, okay.
So we'll pump out the glycerin and until we get to the level where the biodiesel is at, and then we'll pull it out from another valve out of the tank, and it'll go start its wash process.
The beauty of biodiesel is that it's not a super difficult process. The biggest challenge that Pacific Biodiesel finds is getting enough grease. You can help solve this problem. The next time you're eating out, ask the restaurant what they do with their used grease, and ask them to support a local company like Pacific Biodiesel.
Go Green Hawaii is sponsored by the Hawaiian Electric Company.